Now, focusing on Jonathan Kuminga. Why would they be interested in Jonathan Kuminga? I think Kuminga is a great basketball player, and he wants over $30 million a year. This year, he's shooting career high 34. Well, not a career high, but he is shooting 35%. His career high is 37% from three, but he's shooting the most threes and hitting the most threes in his career so far. So the jump shot looks somewhat more viable than it's ever had. 17 points per game, about a point more than last year. 5 rebounds, 2.5 assists, about a steal, and half a block a game. And he's a guy that so far in his career, his best performances have he's been really good as an off the bench scorer, but this year they have him starting at some points, and then they moved him back to the bench. And to me, he's a guy that has always shown that he can scale up, and he's really the only other guy on this team currently who can get his own shot. And with that being said, if you looked in December, this was a guy who in 31 minutes a night averaged 21 points a game, 6.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 1 steal, 1 block almost, on 46% from the field and 35% from three on just under 6 attempts a game. So to me, when we look at this report coming from Jake Fisher and Mark Stein from the Mark Stein line, that if the Suns are truly listening to various team trade offers, specifically obviously the Warriors being one of them, regardless if they were trying, because they're saying the Warriors would love to bring LeBron and Durant, but they would at least settle for Durant and reuniting Curry with the best teammate he ever had. And in turn, the Suns are expected to ask for a very high return in Kevin Durant's trade, that being draft capital, highly rated young talent. And the Suns, if they weren't a part of a huge 3-team trade involving, obviously it'd have to be more than a 3-team trade because you'd have to send salary somewhere, but and LeBron isn't involved, it's just Durant to go to the Warriors, you'd think the deal combining the salaries of Wiggins with Gary Payton, Jonathan Kuminga, right there, that brings you to $42 million. And then you can throw in Kevon Looney or Buddy Hield or Kyle Anderson to make up for the rest of that salary. And there you go. That's the deal. Obviously, you put draft pick compensation, but how plausible that deal is a lot more plausible than some people would make you think. So, yeah. And then we're just going to go into what this massive trade would look like if it were to happen. I do think it's somewhat preposterous, but it definitely is interesting, to say the least. But not use as much CPU. So we're going to go ahead and put the Warriors, Lakers, and Suns all into the trade machine just to visualize. By the way, Fanspo has added updated second apron and first apron salary cap stuff, so I'm back to using them. I was using Spot Rack for a little bit, or Spot Track. I really don't know how you're supposed to say it, but the obvious assumption, this is almost $100 million in salary they would be taking on, right? Yeah, $99.9 million in salary, which is absolutely insane to think about. All right, so I'd have to assume if you're the Suns, you're trading a wing, so to the Wiggins to the Suns. Green, if he is traded in this scenario, because the money, it's the Lakers, they need a big guy. I guess Gary Payton goes to the Suns in this scenario, and Kyle Anderson, Lakers need front court help. Buddy Hield would stay, and the Suns would want Kuminga, they said, and Buddy Hield maybe to the Lakers as well. And I think this actually can happen right here. Is this the money that, in terms of everything? So they still have to remove almost $15 million to make this deal possible, which both teams combined have about $15 million that they could take on. I thought we had added Kevon, but I think the Lakers would want Kevon. And then we're still a few million short, which would again have to lead to you including random contracts and salaries that make absolutely no sense on how they would get this done, because we've already four and looking at like how the team's been split up. Okay, Lindy Waters goes to the Suns, Guy Santos to the Lakers. Like, there you go. And I think that should allow you to do the deal. Now, you're still not able to do the deal because now the Lakers are over $900,000. So can we take off Guy Santos and get this deal done? Okay, so Guy would have to go to the Suns. So in this deal, to get this done, you would have to... Wow. So even if we send Guy Santos over there, the Lakers would still have to cut. Obviously, they need six. They'd have to sign a bunch of players, but to do this deal, who's a minimum contract? Cam Reddish right here to the Warriors. And what other minimum contracts? I guess in this scenario, Bronny James would have to be traded to the Warriors because they wouldn't want that to Bronny just get left there. Yeah, there you go. That's your insane trade that would have to go down if this were to be. Suns walk away with Wiggins, Gary Payton, Jonathan Kuminga, Brandon Podajemski, Lindy Waters, Guy Santos, and then Draymond Green, Kyle Anderson, Buddy Hield, and Kevon Looney all end up in Los Angeles with Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Cam Reddish, Jackson Hayes, and Bronny James ending up in Golden State. That's before we even start talking draft picks. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts. This is ridiculous, right? Isn't it? I personally think it's preposterous. I think what was going to happen. And so wild stuff. Did this just freeze the recording? Yo, what's going on, guys? And today we're going to be talking about the report coming from Jake Fisher and Mark Stein of the Stein Line Substack that the Suns, even though they have no intentions of trading Kevin Durant, they are listening at the very least to various teams' pitches for the 35-year-old legend. It makes sense. If you're willing to give us a Godfather offer, why the heck not? They got nothing to lose. And that's the biggest thing to me. Is if you're a fan of the Suns, would you trade Kevin Durant? They're allegedly as well, Mark Stein and Jake Fisher are reporting that if they were to engage in the conversation with the Warriors,